The Chinese regime is defending the shooting of Tibetan protesters in China's southwest Sichuan province, which took place on the first and second day of the Lunar New Year. Activists are saying that the oppressive regime was what triggered the unrest in Tibet.
On Tuesday, the Chinese regime defended its shooting of unarmed Tibetan protesters in China's Sichuan province on the first and second day of the Chinese Lunar New Year. Overseas Tibetan advocacy groups said at least 7 Tibetans were killed and dozens were wounded during the 2 days of shooting. Chinese Foreign Ministry said external forces had instigated the protests and the series of self-immolations in the Tibet Autonomous Region. The Foreign Ministry spokesman called the unarmed protesters criminals.
目前呢，这个有关的事件已经得到了有效的处置。
Currently, the situation has been effectively dealt with. We believe that the recent series of events had clearly been masterminded and stirred up by someone behind the scenes. The Chinese regime blames exiled Tibetans, including the Dalai Lama, the Tibetan spiritual leader, who fled to India after a failed uprising in 1959, for encouraging the protests. According to Radio Free Asia, 3 more Tibetans set themselves on fire last Friday in the aftermath of the shooting. Amid the unrest, the Chinese regime has stepped up its already heavy security across the Tibetan Autonomous Region, cutting off communications and blocking foreign media correspondents from reporting. A Tibetan poet and activist said the protests and self-immolations show Tibetans' growing despair.
实际上，一个是世界也没有太多的回应，同时中国政府它也没有就是说它。
There has been little response from the outside world. The Chinese regime has done little to appease Tibetans and is in fact using ever greater force to oppress them. In this situation, Tibetan people's disappointment, their despair, grows greater and deeper.
今年一开始就会有连续不断的
Walser said Chinese state security staff has warned her not to speak to foreign media. Since March last year, as many as 19 Buddhist monks, nuns, and other Tibetans have burned themselves in protest over the oppressive rule of the Chinese regime.